He was a billionaire genius who built weapons for war, until his own creation nearly killed him. This is the story of how Tony Stark went from a reckless playboy to the armored hero the world would soon call Iron Man. We open in Afghanistan. Tony Stark, the brilliant but arrogant weapons maker, rides with US soldiers. He jokes, takes selfies, and lives like nothing can touch him until the desert explodes in gunfire. Chaos. Smoke. And then, the bomb that nearly kills him carries his own name, Stark Industries. 36 hours earlier, Tony is the life of the party, charming, rich, and untouchable. He wins awards he doesn't bother to collect, while his friend Colonel Rhodes does it for him. In Vegas, he gambles, flirts, and shows the world he's unstoppable. A journalist challenges him, "How do you justify making weapons that kill?" Tony fires back with confidence. To him, war is business, and business is booming. Back home, we meet Pepper Potts, his loyal assistant, maybe the only one who truly cares. Their witty banter reveals another side of Stark. Soon, Tony boards a military jet, trading jokes and drinks with Rhodey as they fly toward his next weapons demo. In the Afghan desert, Tony unveils his masterpiece, the Jericho missile. One launch, a dozen explosions. The soldiers cheer. Tony spreads his arms like a showman, unaware that this moment marks the beginning of his downfall. Moments later, his convoy is attacked. The screen fills with dust and chaos. Tony is hit by shrapnel fragments of his own bomb. He fades out and wakes up in a cave. Tony meets Yinsen, a kind-hearted prisoner and doctor. A car battery powers the magnet keeping shrapnel from reaching Tony's heart. The terrorists demand he build a missile. Instead, Yinsen whispers a plan: "Let's build something else." With scraps of metal, Tony creates a tiny energy core, the arc reactor. It's not just power, it's life. This glowing device will become his heart, his symbol, his legacy. Together, they secretly design a metal suit under the terrorists' noses. Every hammer strike echoes hope. The Mark I is born crude, heavy, but unstoppable. The plan is set. Yinsen distracts the guards, giving Tony time to power up. Explosions fill the cave. Tony fights his way out, armored and alive, but Yinsen sacrifices himself. His last words, "Don't waste your life." Tony collapses in the desert. Moments later, helicopters descend. Rhodey rushes to him. The prodigal friend returns home, but a changed man. At a press event, Tony shocks the world, he's done making weapons. His board panics. The media gasps. But for Tony, it's liberation. In his garage, surrounded by robots and blueprints, Tony begins anew. He builds, tests, and perfects not for profit, but for purpose. The man who once built missiles now builds redemption. Pepper helps Tony swap his old arc reactor for a sleeker version. The chemistry between them grows soft moments among metal and fire. The new armor comes alive. Tony straps in, nervous but excited. He blasts off unstable, wild, and unstoppable. He hits the ceiling and crashes through walls, but when he soars above Malibu, we see it, Iron Man is taking shape. After testing, Tony polishes his design. Sleek, strong, red and gold. He's no longer a prisoner of his past, he's the man who'll change it. At a charity gala, Tony reconnects with the reporter who once challenged him. She shows him photos his weapons are still used in war zones. Betrayal hits hard. Someone inside Stark Industries is still dealing death. Tony confronts Obadiah Stane, his father's old partner. Stane smiles, but his eyes hide deceit. The game has changed, and Tony just became a threat. Tony takes to the skies again faster, stronger, untouchable. He breaks the sound barrier, freezes at altitude, then recovers. Every crash teaches him something. Every flight makes him freer. He discovers the same terrorists who held him are terrorizing Yinsen's village. Tony suits up and flies across the world blasting weapons, saving villages, and becoming the hero no one expected. Back home, Pepper walks in as Tony removes his armor. Sparks fly emotionally this time. She's scared for him, but proud too. In a smoky backroom, Obadiah Stane meets with the terrorists. He wants the remains of the Mark I. His smile turns cold. We realize the real villain has been in Stark's circle all along. As Tony works late in his lab, unaware of the betrayal closing in, we fade out on the glowing arc reactor, his heart of iron burning bright against the darkness. He was wounded by his own creation, but rebuilt himself into something greater. This isn't just how a hero was born, it's how a man learned that power means nothing without purpose. This is Iron Man.